You are now entering the No Reflection podcast with your host, Silent Dave, the all-in-one place where we celebrate music, musicians, story reviews, and things that go bang. Hold on tight. This ride may get bumpy. Get ready? Let's go.
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the No Reflection podcast. I am Silent Dave. We're going to call this episode Back to Basics. Today, the big news in the music industry, Rush has announced a 2026 world tour called 50 Something. They're bringing along drummer Anika Nilles. She's going to fill in for Neil Peart, and they're promised some new music. So we're going to see what she's all about on this episode, and we are going to review some silent Marine Corps drill team maneuvers. Thank you for joining us. Who knew? I didn't see this coming. Pleasant surprise. We lost Neil Peart 5.5 years ago. There's no replacing him. However, they did find some talent in Anika Nilles. Anika Nilles is going to be filling in for this tour. She fits the bill very well, and we're going to see what happens here. And I have no doubt that it is going to be a sellout show. And let's see what Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson have to say.
In this terrible situation,
Tour.
to go back on tour.
Hi, we're going back on tour.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we'll see you soon.
We are going to see some new Rush.
I think it's great.
Isn't it weird saying it out loud?
Yeah, it totally. We're musicians and we're players. How rich it is in its music and lyrics and everything that it represented.
It feels great to say out loud, finally, that we're going to go on tour and we're going to play a lot of these songs.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. The 50-something 2026 Rush Tour featuring Anika Nilles. Anika Nilles, we're going to bring up her profile a little bit later in this podcast and see what she's all about. But for now, we are just too busy celebrating Rush, celebrating new music. They're coming back to your town, and they are going to hit it big. Every time I've seen them, they blow it out of the park. My favorite one was at Red Rocks, Neil Peart with Rush, Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson at Red Rocks on a perfect summer night. Any of their shows are going to be awesome. Hopefully you guys get to make it out to some of their shows, and we are going to see what they bring in 2026. They started back in the 70s. They're one of those bands that, they started with a different drummer, and then their drummer left, and that made room for Neil Peart. So he took everything to the next level. He was the perfect fit for the trio. And they took everything to the next level. They set the bar high with melodies, tones, songwriting, lyrics, orchestra, instrumentals, all avenues. They set that bar high, and a lot of bands try to measure up to them. And they're a huge influence on so many thousands and thousands of artists, even to this day. So again, like me, if you were one that saw them back in the day, you know what to expect, and you know it's going to not disappoint. And if you haven't seen them yet, hopefully you can make it out to one of their shows, because this one is a must-see, and Anika Nilles perfectly fits the bill. Okay, guys, let's talk some Geddy Lee. Geddy Lee, huge baseball fan, wine connoisseur. Fun fact about Geddy Lee. And I heard this back when I first was listening to Rush. I heard an interview with him on the radio. His mom has an accent, and his real name is Gary. So when you roll the R, she'd call him Geddy. So then it just stuck with him, Geddy. So Geddy Lee, his real name is Gary, and Geddy just kind of stuck with him from his mom. Another fact about his parents are survivors of the World War II Holocaust, where they met. It's really unfortunate what happened back then, and it's hard to think that we could have lost everything back then, and then we would never have this music. But fortunately, they made it through, and Geddy moved on to do the things that he did to have us appreciate the music that we love to this day. he plays the keyboard, the synthesizer, the bass, and he sings in all of these songs. And coming up on this tour, it's rumored that he's going to have a fill-in keyboard player just so he could focus a little bit more on his other things that he's got going on. So that'll be nice to get the help there so we can appreciate the music even more. The more the merrier, you know. Let's see, right here, here's a baseball picture with Geddy Lee, part of his collection. Really looking forward to this world tour. Anika Nilles is going to hit it out of the park. I've seen her videos, and we'll get to her here shortly. Alex Lifeson, golfer, pilot, guitarist, everything he comes up with instrumentally is just phenomenal. You know, he's been a great inspiration to me as a guitar player. You know, I'm looking at these pictures of his guitars on his wall there, and I am just envy. I'm in awe when I see what he can do with those things. He's been a huge inspiration to me and many others throughout the years, and it's just really cool to see what he can do with what he's got. And you know, back in the 70s, look at this picture here. Back in the 70s, this was probably during the Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page dual neck guitar competition, stadium selling out tours. You know, it's hard to think of music back then compared to music back now. But Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson and Rush with Neil Peart have stood the test of time. And all of this is still relevant to this day. You know, you could listen to these songs and you could think back of where you were when you first heard it, whether it's in elementary, high school, and what influence it had. Maybe you went to a party at high school and that this was the song. This was the song that if you did not like this song, you were outcast. So I can relate. I remember those days, and it was a thing. It was before YouTube, before Spotify. You know, whoever had this record was the cool kid on the block. And if you didn't have the record and if you didn't know about it, you were kind of an outcast. So it's fun to think back of how it used to be, and that these guys are still able to share their music on the level that they do. They are definitely going to sell out their stadium tours, arena tours, whatever form they come to your town. I guarantee you it's going to sell out because they have a solid following, and there's no doubt that they are going to continue to amaze during each show. And with the young blood of Anika Nilles, you know, filling in, it's just going to inspire those younger generation music lovers to appreciate the music as well on a level that Rush has provided for us. And that brings us to Neil Peart. You know, Neil passed away in 2020, and it's been a long 5.5 years, and you know, who knew? Nobody saw it coming, and he is very missed to this day by every Rush fan. And he had an impact that we can talk about all day. You know, fun fact about Rush is like the Beatles, their original drummer on that first album was not the drummer who would take him through to stardom. So same thing with Neil Peart. They had a different drummer than Neil Peart on that first album with Working Man. And then that guy moved on and made way for Neil Peart to come and do what he does best. So unfortunate for the other guy, but we are glad it worked out the way it did because we got unbelievable, unforgettable tunes with Neil Peart. Fun fact about Neil Peart is, you know, he's a drummer and he takes it to the next level. He lives it and he loves it. Same thing can be said for his passion for motorcycles. He lives it, loves it, and he takes that thing to the whole next level. Back in the 90s, unfortunately, he had his wife and his daughter passed away. And his process to healing was to get on a motorcycle and go for a ride. And 55,000 miles later, he had a book out of it. So, you know, the healing he just got on his bike and went for a ride and came back 55,000 miles later. Who does that? This guy is over the top biker through and through. He rode all through the U.S. He rode through Mexico. He went down to Belize. He was checking in with friends along the way. And, right here says it all right here.
After she passed away, he was lost. And so he ran. He got on his motorcycle and ran.
When his wife died, he had to do what he needed to do to just find some kind of peace. He embarked on a long, very, very painful journey, just going and going and going and going.
Yes. Fortunately, he found his outlet and it worked. And if you haven't read the book yet,
was so worried about
those
me.
stories.
In fact, there was a network I know among my friends and loved ones. Oh, I heard from him today. I got a postcard, or he called. They would all reassure each other, because anything could have happened to me, even by accident, let alone by design.
Fuck, we were so worried about him. But he was at arm's length.
Neil needed time. To be honest, I had no real interest in music for...
Yeah, so Neil, got on his bike and didn't come back till after 55,000 miles. The whole thing with Neil and his drumming, we can see here, he's using every piece and every idea, and all of this will never be forgotten. You can watch this and just get lost in his rhythms and his beats and his backdrops and everything that he's got going on there. And, back then he was innovative. He was Mr. Innovation. Listen to that. Who does that? Nowadays, there's a ton of drummers, and they're all very talented, and we appreciate their music and their efforts. But back then, in the 70s and 80s, Neil Peart, whole different dynamic, and he's missed to this day. So, Neil, buddy, you are missed, and we love everything that you did, and you have influenced us all, and we're going to miss you, buddy. And that's going to bring us to Anika Nilles. 2026, Rush, the 50-something world tour with new music and a new drummer. Who is Anika Nilles? Well, she's been around. She's played with big names in the industry, and she's made a name for herself. She started playing drums at the age of 6. Was influenced by the band that her father was in, and has been playing drums ever since. Turned pro in her mid-20s, and now she got the call to play with the big boys, and she is not going to flinch, and no doubt that she won't, because she can rise to the occasion, and she will produce the tones and the drum beats and the reputation that Rush has, and we are going to see some big things out of this girl. She's got her YouTube channel right here. There, I clicked on all these videos, over the past couple years, and she can talk the talk and walk the walk. There is no doubt that this is a must-see show, and having a female drummer in Rush, who knew? But I have no doubt that this is a must-see show. And, we could tell by, what she does right here. She's got her own channel, and she does a whole variety of different things and different tones, and just blows me away. So if you haven't checked out her YouTube channel, check it out and click on the different things that she does, because it's amazing, and it's in the style of what we're looking for at a Rush show, and she puts her own flair to it. So we're expecting some big things out of Anika Nilles, and the tour 2026 50-something Rush is going to be coming to a town near you, so it's a must-see, and maybe I'll see you at the show. So we are going to alrighty, guys, we're going to end this show as promised with the Marine Corps Silent Platoon drill team, and let's see what they got here. Let's see, for this video, looks like they are at the nation's capital. I can tell you from experience, from being part of that team in California, hours and hours, countless hours, and It's like everybody has to read each other's mind, and surprisingly enough, it does take place. Everybody knows what the other one's doing, and it all comes together, and there's a sense of pride, and there's a sense of accomplishment, and it's something to be very proud of. So thank you for joining us on this episode. We're looking forward to the Rush 2026 50-something tour, and we will see you on the next No Reflection podcast tomorrow. Won't you join us? Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out on the No Reflection podcast. Join us again tomorrow, where we will again celebrate music, musicians, story reviews, and things that go bang. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. See you soon.